Hey there YouTube lovers, my name is BB8 and today I am going to review F-Zero GX. With the GameCube Nintendo Classics Collection making its debut on the Nintendo Switch 2, I thought why not do my first ever review for a GameCube Nintendo Classics game being F-Zero GX. Since the only two I have handed out a rating so far is Soul Calibur 2 and F-Zero GX. And today, we're reviewing F-Zero GX. Because even though I would have preferred a remaster to GX, finally getting a chance to play it on the GameCube Nintendo Classics Collection was actually a really fun time. So, will F-Zero GX be the high-speed thrill I was hoping for, or has this game just gone off course? You're about to find out. So, without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? For the gameplay, the high-stakes racing of F-Zero GX is the one thing the game excels at, specifically in tracks like Phantom Road or Mute City Serial Gaps, which are very difficult tracks to be exact, but the game does move so quickly that it kind of feels like you're barely in control of your machine, and the feeling of the momentum within the game is thrilling, particularly when you are trying to outrun 29 other machines at the speed of 1,000 kilometers per hour. A majority of the tracks within the Ruby and Sapphire Cups do feel fair, while Emerald and Diamond were quite brutal, especially the last track in the Diamond Cup, Phantom Road. Each track does require you to plan your machine settings wisely with acceleration and max speed. The machine that you select in the game does have an impact on your experience in the race as well. Captain Falcon was the machine I used the most throughout playing the game because I found him the most easiest to control. But in my opinion, the custom machines frequently did have trouble with tight turns, because throughout playing the game, I did make a lot of custom machines, and when it comes to sharp turns, I couldn't get any of them right, and that was quite frustrating. You can customize your vehicle to fit the difficulty of specific tracks by adjusting the settings, but despite the difficulties of each track, I spent most of my time on F-Zero GX in Grand Prix mode, because it's the most rewarding form of progression, and the unlockables kept me coming back to F-Zero GX for more, as I kept playing the Grand Prix mode to get more tickets, to unlock more races, and machine parts. For the graphics and the performance, for a game that released in 2003, F-Zero GX does have amazing looking visuals. Due to its connection to F-Zero AX, the arcade game, the visuals are really appealing and does remind me of mid-2000s arcade games. The game is instantly recognizable due to its future aesthetic, with its menus, cutscenes, and music. The Nintendo Classics Collection on Nintendo Switch 2 does provide a CRT filter which does effectively recreate the nostalgia of racing games. Despite me not growing up with F-Zero GX, I felt like I was at home playing F-Zero GX with the CRT filter, because I do get nostalgia playing on arcade racing games from the 2000s or those Typhoon simulators, which does feel a lot like a time capsule to arcade design from the 2000s. The garage, the emblem editor, and the overall UI do set GX apart from other racing games at the time. GX does operate with perfect performance. Even with 30 different races in the race at the same time, the backgrounds being complex, and the high speeds that the game goes through, the frame rate doesn't seem to be that bad, especially in a game this fast, which is crucial because a single glitch or a frame drop could have a problem within the race itself. F-Zero GX is a well-optimized game, as shown by the smooth gameplay, with everything from the boost trails to the explosion effects, the ability to go through the chaotic races, even through situations that may seem stressful, is well complemented thanks to how visually appealing the game is, which is crucial since it does complement the gameplay quite well. For the characters, the cast of F-Zero GX is one of the most diverse in a Nintendo racing game, with each pilot, such as Captain Falcon, to even racers who may be not well known, like the Skull, which does bring its own unique flavor into the game as well. But the reuse of certain visual elements, such as Captain Falcon's eye mask on the Blood Falcon and Black Shadow, does not detract from the overall ability for the characters to blend in to the world of F-Zero. The character designs are well designed and unique, which do complement the sci-fi racing game quite well. And the characters are enhanced by their personalities as well, such as their voice lines, their theme music, and their appearance in story mode do give the impression that each pilot is a part of the world of F-Zero. Although I did prefer Captain Falcon's balanced statistics, I was very engaged with Samurai Goro and Pico as well, and the fun of F-Zero was improved by the variety of vehicles that are connected to each pilot, with each machine being extended to the pilot that is connected with it. And it's not just that, you can create your own vehicles as well and attach them to a specific pilot as well. For the story mode in F-Zero GX by far has to be one of the most punishing aspects of F-Zero GX. Instead of just providing a not heavy layer of story into the game, which one might anticipate from a racing game like F-Zero GX, but instead F-Zero GX does bring in a lot of intense missions where Captain Falcon takes the lead, with each mission building on how difficult the previous mission was, pushing the boundaries and puts your skills to the test with how much you know the mechanics within the game. And while the idea of a story mode within a racing game was actually quite unique at the time, its execution was quite divisive. Personally, I only made it to Mission 7, the F-Zero Grand Prix, where I did find it a bit overwhelming with all the lava on the track, which made it really difficult to complete the mission. And the criteria of each mission makes it more difficult as well, such as you're required to get first place, or you're required to take that specific machine out before reaching the finish line. I'm not gonna lie, that's some good laid out criteria, but it's really, really difficult. I would say it's a good thing because difficulty does encourage replay value, as seen in games like Cuphead, where I constantly played it for hours and hours because of how difficult it was. It is the case here in F-Zero GX as well. Even at times that I wanted to put the control down because of how hard the missions were. And I would go as far to say that this is one of the most difficult games I've played. Even more difficult than Cuphead. And finally, we have the soundtrack. The soundtrack in F-Zero GX is so energetic thanks to its blend of rock, techno, and hip-hop, which does perfectly match the aesthetic that the game is going for. Every character does have a theme song of its own, and while I do feel like they all have a similar aesthetic to each other, some songs, specifically the ones that have lyrics in them, stand out to me more than everyone else's songs. Some characters feel more iconic thanks to the themes with lyrics in them. The soundtrack is memorable and nostalgic. Even if I personally didn't grow up with the game, it feels like a 2000s arcade game. Not because it is one, but I feel like with the soundtrack, it feels like I'm in the time where 2000s arcade games with CRT screens were thriving. In addition to the themes for each character, the in-race music is really catchy as well, such as Casino Palace, which I do get vibes from Waluigi Stadium from Mario Kart Double Dash, not only because it released the same year, but because I feel like the tracks are a bit similar to each other, and the sound effects do a great job at complementing the overall game as well, such as the sound effects of the engines, the sound effects of the boosts, and when you slam an opponent onto the side of the track, which does contribute to the overall chaos of F-Zero GX and its high-speed atmosphere as well. And the announcer does bring in some fun to the mix as well, and the voice acting in the story mode does bring in a unique identity to each character, even the skull having its own unique delivery, which did make him more unique and stayed true to his appearance and personality. And all of what I've just discussed does contribute to a very good and unforgettable audio experience while playing F-Zero GX. And it's probably why this is my strongest racing game recommendation for the GameCube. F-Zero GX, while it is one of the most difficult racing games I've ever played, it's a hardie but a goodie. While it is mechanically complex, it is visually appealing and it's fast in a good way. While there is a lot to learn if you're less experienced, those who do manage to master it will be rewarded in the end. There is always something to do in F-Zero GX, such as unlocking new machines and new machine parts, trying to master a challenging track, or finally getting to finish that one mission in story mode that you've been stuck on for a while. And thanks to the well-executed Grand Prix progression, extensive customization for your vehicles, and the replay value in F-Zero GX is really good as well. But it is still a game that does require a lot of your time to master. Because if you come from something like Mario Kart, which you could just learn to play immediately, F-Zero GX does take its time to master. However, I did continue to come back to F-Zero GX despite sometimes failing some of the tracks. But thanks to the great arcade-style gameplay that this game has, F-Zero GX does stand out to me as one of the best racing games ever made. That's not Mario Kart, of course. This is my favourite F-Zero game in general, thanks to its standout visuals, controls, once you've got them right, and its excellent soundtrack. Who I recommend F-Zero GX to mainly does depend on the player. Because to casuals or anyone at age 5, I might not recommend to, despite the PEGI 3 rating. But for those who are experienced at racing games like F-Zero, go for it. F-Zero is probably one of the strongest recommendations I can provide for racing games, even though it is quite chaotic. And that is why I give F-Zero GX the collector perk with the certified silver accolade. And overall, I give F-Zero GX a 9 out of 10. F-Zero GX does get a lot of things right, thanks to its intense speed, which does define F-Zero GX as a game, and its impressive package of replay value, modes you can play, and customization. And while the difficulty of the game is steep, and you can occasionally get frustrated with some of the tracks, especially story mode, but the challenge that the game does have is what makes the game so rewarded to the people that dedicate their time to this game. It is an excellent blend of nostalgic arcade racing and the ability to master the game, which does hold up very well 2 decades later. And if you are a fan of high-speed racing, racing that's more challenging, F-Zero GX may be the right experience for you, even with the amount of limits that are pushed when playing the game. So guys, what did you think of my review of F-Zero GX? And I want to hear from you. What did you think of F-Zero GX if you got around to playing it? So, in terms of future BB8's house reviews, I currently have Soul Calibur 2 on the table, and Super Mario Strikers, aka Mario Smash Football, here in the UK. And I've also got a few more games on the table as well, like Cyberpunk 2077, which I am playing on Nintendo Switch 2 right now, and I'm finally gonna get around to watching the Until Dawn movie so I can provide my review for it. So, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and turn your notification bell on so you don't miss another video like this one in the future. And I will see you all in a future video. BB8 out.